All right, how is everyone doing? First off, I wanted to thank everybody for hanging out with us for the very first ever Hey Luke show. First off, right now, a little ghetto setup is what we have going on right now, but we have some exciting news. We've kind of leaked it out a little bit at a time that Impact Marketing, we're growing very, very fast. And we're blessed to have a great company, a great team, and a solid client base full of people that we love working with. It's allowed us to get to a point where we are going to be moving into a new office space. We're going to be moving into a custom-built 4,000 square foot modern office space, and it's going to be equipped with an awesome studio. So you're going to be watching a few of these streaming live from our webcam, from our sexy Apple devices that we have here at Impact Marketing. But before too long, we're actually going to be coming to you from the Impact Studios. We're going to have a handful of sets, and one of them is going to be for the Hey Luke show. So the premise of this and what we're trying to accomplish here is we're all about educating and giving back. You know, myself, Jeff, all the way down to everybody that works in the company. What we are built on is educating our audience. It's our way of getting our name out there, getting our brand out there, and able to provide you value better than what we're used to as an advertisement. Our advertising is providing value. So the concept of this show, I've had people email me questions. I've asked some of the people that I know are very involved in trying to progress their business through social media. Send me some questions that we're going to answer, and then I'm also going to take some live if anybody would like to ask some in the feed. So be sure to, let me see if I can get this set up here. Be sure to ask your questions. And also, there is a new app that we're going to talk a little bit about. It is called Meerkat. It's a live streaming app. So we're actually live streaming this right now from Meerkat. It is hooked up directly to Twitter. So if you are on Twitter at all, you can actually see what's going on with the Meerkat app. So we have a little side broadcast right here for the fine folks that are hanging out on Twitter and Meerkat. So basically, we'll start very broad with the very first Hey Luke show. And this is going to run to about 1:30. We're going to try to bounce through this and then get to some questions. What we're all about here at Impact Marketing is advertising and marketing where everybody is paying attention. You want to broadcast your message where people are currently hanging out. So, you know, traditional media still does work. Absolutely. No questions about it. But there's a new thing out there that we're all on all the time. It's just not everybody's using it for marketing purposes. That is social media. So why is it so powerful? There are billions of people on social media, from your, pre-teens to, your 70-year-old plus, because everybody can stay connected. You don't have to be in a certain place to connect with an individual now. You can do it digitally. So it is mass amounts of people. So basically what's going on certain traditional media platforms, it is the equivalent of broadcasting your message in a football stadium full of people. You could either be at Morgantown High School broadcasting to a full stadium, or you could be at the Milan Pushkar Stadium on the megaphone yelling your message out and communicating with a much larger audience. But the trick comes in with not just looking at it as some place to yell and broadcast your message. That is where everybody makes a mistake with social media and why it's not working for everyone. So what we're going to talk to you today is how to get social media to work for you. That's why the teaser, if you watch that, at the end it says, do you suck at social media? Well, that's what we're going to help you accomplish today and through this show. One side note, we are going to make our best effort to come to you live every single Friday at 1 o'clock, unless business gets in the way, and that would be the only thing to hold us up. So we are going to set aside time for you all every single week, Friday, 1 o'clock, be able to ask your questions. You can email them to us. You can tweet at us, get us on Instagram, whatever, by using the hashtag HeyLuke. So how come social media is not working for me, someone might ask? Well, the biggest thing is you're trying to just broadcast your message when you need to look at it like this. Social media is the cocktail party of the internet. You can be at a great cocktail party, and we all know that guy or that gal that likes to come in and just simply talk about themselves and what they can do for you, and the fact that you could buy their product from them rather than going somewhere else. They're broadcasting to you. They're not interested in a conversation at all. They're not interested in building that relationship, building context. They just simply want to get that message out, and they want you to consume it. Well, used to, you could force messages down people's throats with traditional media, and that was the only way to get to your audience. Now, social media, you have to really be at the cocktail party to engage. So yes, you want to push content out there, but you don't want to push content out there that people are going to just blow right past. You want to push content out there that is going to encourage a conversation. So I had mentioned you could be standing in Milan Pushkar Stadium. You could have one guy that just wants to be the car salesman pitching his product, or you could have the guy right next to him that is asking questions to the people in the front row, yelling at the people in the top row, asking them questions that they're going to engage with. So you could either broadcast your message and have no care about what is said back to you from the person you're sending that message to, or you could encourage conversation. So it's all about the content that you put out there. You're not trying to put advertisements on social media. That's what I'm really trying to get down to here. It's not about pushing ads. So we're all used to advertising and distributing commercials and ads and banners and things like that. On social media, it's a different game. There is no B2B, business to business. There is no B2C, business to consumer. It's one-on-one marketing. It's about pushing content out that is going to encourage people to like, comment, or share your content. You want to start that conversation. And when you get that conversation started, the trick is to not just say, oh, cool, somebody said awesome post, or I totally agree, and then leave it at that. You want to comment back. That's like you saying, hey, I love that watch that you have on, Luke, and me not saying anything back to you. It would be rude, and people aren't going to continue to engage with you. Now, if so-and-so comes up to me and says, Luke, I love that watch that you have on, I'm going to say something like, oh, thanks, I got it at Joyce's Jewelry in Morgantown, West Virginia. Little plug for you. It's all about the conversation, keeping it going. That's a big mistake that I see today is people will push content out, and they'll get likes or comments on it, and they don't do anything with that like or that comment. They need to engage back. So that's what it's all about, engagement at scale and pushing quality content. So I want to actually use an example here. One of our sponsors of our Evolve Business Conference, which is going to be April 28th, is the lovely people at West Virginia Executive Magazine. Awesome publication. This is the type of print media that you don't throw away. I really have a stack of them right down here to my right that I continue to look through and read the articles because they are interesting. But here's a great example of what I'm talking about with taking an ad and putting it on Facebook, and how is it going to perform, as opposed to having an ad in a traditional media platform and then taking that same event, that same product, and how should you promote that on social media. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's our ad for the Evolve Conference right here. Okay. Now, what a lot of people would do is they would take this exact same graphic, and that would be the content that they use to push out on social media. Come to my conference. Now, we don't want to engage with an ad on social media. An ad is going to catch my attention in a magazine. It's going to do a great job of it. But on social media, when I take that graphic and I push that graphic on the social media, people are going to flop right past it, because here's what happens. We see ads every single day. So why do I want to go to my happy place of social media where I'm there to look at content that's going to make me laugh, make me cry because it was sad, or it touched my heart from some charity, or it was a piece of content that I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's the type of content that people engage with and want to consume, not an advertisement. And I'm not saying this as a social media hippie. I'm saying this as somebody that our company has researched this and found that this is what works most effectively, is putting content out there rather than ads. So I have my advertisement here in the West Virginia Executive Magazine, right? All right, so what do I put out next? Well, we have 14 different speakers that are going to be at the conference. And we have 5 different tracks: marketing, leadership, sales, power networking, and human resources. That is a ton of content that I can talk about. So we're pushing out content like a biography or a little background on Mike King, who is a leadership coach who's going to be one of the presenters of the leadership track, or Dan Kimball, the president of the Morgantown Chamber of Commerce, and the fact that he's going to be talking about power networking, or my business partner, Jeff Welch, and how he's been in the branding and graphic design industry for so many years, and his knowledge of this and what he's done, and how he's going to take all this knowledge and what value he's going to provide to you. So we have an advertisement here, and then we break down all of these little bullet points and we story tell around those in social media. So let's use one of our clients, me and Margarita down in Bridgeport, West Virginia, and I'm not just saying this because they are a client. If you have not been there, you need to go check it out. So they would have, let's say this is an ad for me and Margarita in Bridgeport, and they have, you know, they're one of their most popular pies on that advertisement, okay? Great. It says, come try our coal-fired pizza, and it's going to do great in the magazine. But then they might try to post that to Facebook, and Luke, for some reason, it didn't do so well. Why is that? You want to storytell around that content. So let's say it is the Margarita pizza. There's a big, rich history and story behind that pie. The Margarita pizza was the very first ever pizza ever invented, and it was named after Queen Marguerite. And the toppings actually are representative of the colors of the Italian flag. Something pretty cool, pretty interesting. A lot of you probably didn't know that. That's the type of content that you want to put out on social media. So you have an advertisement that shows your most popular pie. Don't take that ad and push that on social media. Take that ad and storytell around it. And what can you tell me to make me go, ooh, or ah, or wow, that's really, really cool, or make me laugh? So a lot of the things you'll see us posting on our personal page is social media tips and techniques. We're telling you how to market and advertise on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, all this different stuff. We're giving you value. Then we'll mix in some things like today. If you go to our Facebook page every Friday, you're going to see our Factoid Friday by Mr. Factoid, our lead designer, Jake Newman. And it's something funny. It's 6 seconds long. He swings around, and he's in a really corny outfit, and he tells you a really random fact you didn't know. What does that have to do with marketing and advertising? It really doesn't. But it gets you thinking about my brand. It gets you thinking about impact marketing. It gets you saying, oh, the guys over at Impact, they have a good sense of humor. They're pretty funny. We also follow that up with hardcore techniques to where you know that we're not just a bunch of goof-offs jacking around, pushing out a bunch of pointless content. We're giving you valuable content, but we're also making you laugh every once in a while. So what type of content can you push out that is going to make your audience do one of the following? Laugh, cry, say, oh, I didn't know that, or just be so dumbfounded by what they saw in a good way that they want to come back for more. I've said this before. If you see Talladega Nights, you've seen the corny line where he said, if you're not first or last. And we say that in a lot of our keynotes when we do our presentations, and people laugh, but it's actually very serious. You have to be at the top of the mind consistently of all of your viewers, of the potential customers in your market for what your product represents. Or if you're not at the top of their mind, somebody else is, and they're going to go to that person. So if you're not the first person that I think of when I need your product or your service, I'm going to go to somebody else. If Kroger was not the first store that I thought of when I said we need a case of water, I probably was going to go to Sheetz. If Mercedes-Benz is not the first vehicle that I think of when I think luxury vehicle, I might go to BMW. If Mia Margarita is not the first pizza shop that I think of when I say I want an upscale pizza dining experience, I'm probably going to go to another one. So if you're not first, you're last. You don't get a second or third chance in this. They're going to go to the person that they first thought of. So we have a handful of questions, and let's see if I think my Q&A chat box is on. We do have a handful of questions that I had emailed to me that I have off to my left. Right here that I'm going to go ahead and answer. They're questions that I get asked a lot. They're my, my frequently asked questions, and I thought if I answered some of these, it would bring some value for you. So we've got about 15 minutes. I'm going to bounce through these, and then again, I want your comments, your feedback. Go to Twitter and use the hashtag HeyLuke. Ask your questions there. Instagram, same thing. Even you can do it on Facebook, or you can always email me at luke@thinkimpact.com. You can ask your questions. And I want to get down. This is just the kickoff show. We're going to do this every single Friday at 1 o'clock, bearing any type of business emergency that we can't make it. And I want to really get down to nitty gritty. So if you own a pet shop and you're having a hard time selling that Dalmatian, I want you to ask me specifics about how to increase business with this, that, or the other on social media. All right, so one of the things that I get asked a lot, it's kind of a two-part question. Why are my posts not reaching as many people? And how do I get my Facebook posts to reach more people? So it's the same question, just asked a couple different ways. It goes back to our opening statement here. It's putting out quality content. Your posts aren't reaching that many people because you're pushing out advertisements. You're taking your magazine ad and you're not reformatting it for social media. And this goes for more than just Facebook. It needs to be quality content. But Facebook specifically, the reason that somebody might have, say, 1,200 fans and their posts are only getting seen by like 20 people, and you can see that when you're the admin of a page, why the hell is that? All right, well, here's why. Facebook has something called the Edge Rank algorithm. It's Facebook's way of keeping Facebook from turning into email. Everybody knows email is a critical part of your day, but it's also a dreaded part of your day. It used to be fun. They made movies around people falling in love on email. We couldn't wait to check our email. We read every freaking word of our email. Now we can't stand it because it is spam. We get blasted with ads. If Facebook did not have something to suppress the advertisements, marketers such as myself and other small business owners and big business owners would just bombard the newsfeed of Facebook with advertisements. And guess what? Facebook will go out of business because people would lose interest because they don't want to consume ads. They want to consume quality content. So Facebook has something that they, in a nutshell, it's a code that is called the Edge Rank algorithm. And what they do is if you have 1,200 fans, they release their posts in levels, okay? So you post something about your the latest shipment of cars that you got on. And the post, quite frankly, it sucked, okay? So they're going to show it to 5, 6 people. And if nobody likes it, comments, or shares it, Facebook's going to say, oh, nobody cares about this. We're not going to put this on everybody's newsfeed if nobody cares about it. So they suppress it and they keep it down. But let's say we push something out that is value-driven. That car dealership gives somebody a virtual tour. The salesman shows them his top 5 favorite things about the new Chevy Silverado down at Harry Green Chevrolet. Okay, people are a little more interested in that. Oh, okay, it's got a flat screen TV on the back of the headrest. It's got this in the dash. So 5, 6 people like it. So Facebook says, people care about this. So they show it to more people and more people and more people and more people. So what they're doing is they're suppressing content that is not quality. I just had a business meeting with somebody down in Clarksburg about an hour ago, and I explained this to them. If you're pushing advertisements out, that's not quality content. We don't want to take an advertisement and consume that, so we won't consume it. We won't do anything with it. We'll scroll right over top of it on our phone. And Facebook sees that and does not allow it to perform. So how do you get your Facebook posts to reach more people? Like I said, it's very simple. You provide value. What do you do, and what can you educate your audience on? If you own a hardware store, give me some DIY home improvement techniques and use the products that you sell. Nutrition Pit is one of our greatest clients. We absolutely love working with these people. We do a campaign called the #iTrain campaign. We're basically promoting Nutrition Pit without ever talking about any of their products. And the way we're doing that is we're giving interesting content because we're using the people that actually use Nutrition Pit: bodybuilders, bikini models, MMA fighters, boxers, sprinters, cyclists, different things like that. And we're telling their stories about how serious they are about training, how much they love their sport, how much dedication it takes. And the message is people that are serious about what they do, about their training, about their health and their fitness, those are the people that go to Nutrition Pit. And the campaign is working incredibly well because guess what? People are interested in it. Even if they're not a bikini model, they're not an MMA fighter, if they're somewhat interested in fitness or their body in general, this is interesting content. It's stories of other people and how they use those products because they're very serious about what they do. And Nutrition Pit is a store for serious people about their health. So you have to give valuable content. With us, we just give a lot of social media advice, a lot of branding advice about how a responsive website is important and how can you come about having a responsive website? How can you market yourself on Twitter? We're pushing that out there rather than some of our competitors that'll say social media is important. Use us. Now, what value is that going to give you? Okay, and that literally happens not just in this state but everywhere. Our competitors are doing that. What I do and what Jeff does and what our entire team does, we turn around and we give you content. We say, this is how you do it. This is what you should do. Because we know that you're going to consume that. And now you're not going to be able to do everything that we do. So you're going to be able to use us for certain things. You want to give valuable content. That's how you get your post to succeed more. How often should I post? That's another question, probably the second one I get asked the most. It varies for each platform. So Facebook, we've been doing a lot of testing. Used to it was once, at most twice a day. We've been doing a lot of testing where you can see your peak times. When are your audience online and when should you post? So what we've been doing is we have 3 peaks on our day, and our clients might have 3 or 4 peaks. So what we do is we post once each peak, and we're starting to see a lot more performance out of that. But a good rule of thumb would be at least once a day. If you've never done it before in your entire life, try to do it 2 to 3 times a week, and then get up to where it's second nature on Facebook at least once a day. When you really get it down and you're pumping out that content at a quality level, you could do it up to 3 times a day, but it's got to be 3 quality pieces of content. Everybody's heard content is king. Pushing out content is important. It is, but there's so much content today that if you're just throwing out content, throw it out, it's not going to perform. Context is God. If content is king, context around that content is God. Your content has to have quality assurance, basically. So 3 pieces of content, but they all have to be good. You can't have one dud, or it's a waste of your time. Now, Twitter, it happens much faster on Twitter. The lifespan, we just learned this past week, the lifespan of a tweet, if you're ready for this, is 24 minutes. Now, I hope you're not putting a lot of time and energy into that tweet, because it's 24 minutes, and then nobody's ever going to see it again because there's so much content going out on Twitter. So posting on Twitter, if you really put a lot of time and effort into some piece of content, what you want to do is you want to post that 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, because what happens is, think about ESPN, okay? They run the exact same stories multiple times through the day, because Johnny Smith might not be able to watch during lunch, but he might be able to at 6 o'clock at night. So it's not bad to repeat on a platform like Twitter. At times, I will post once an hour on Twitter. Now, it's sometimes different content, but the stream of content is so great on Twitter that you have to be much, much more frequent with that. Now, you don't have to be on every single platform as well. You have to understand that. It breaks down to who are you trying to reach. It goes down to your age and sex demo, okay? So I'm going to break this down. Take these notes, because this might be the biggest thing that you take from today's live broadcast. If you are trying to reach the people that have money to either buy cars, that need life insurance, to buy a home, whatever it is, the adults, Facebook is where you need to play. 35-year-olds to 65 and up adults. That's the main demo on Facebook, okay? That is where most of the data is. So if you're going to do targeted ad campaigns, you can target the most people on Facebook, the people that have the money, the adults. That's where they are playing. Now, if you're trying to reach your college kids, yes, sometimes they're on Facebook, not near as much as they used to be, because what happens is when mom and dad start hanging out in the same club that I am, I want to bounce over to here and go somewhere else because I don't want to hang out in the same place as my mom and dad. And that's what's happened. My girlfriend has a little sister that is in 6th grade, okay? She has no interest in Facebook, but she has Snapchat and Instagram. So it's kind of interesting. She doesn't want to be on that older platform. So if you're trying to, let's say you're a retail store and you want to sell to high school and college age kids, you need to be on Twitter, you need to be on Instagram, and more importantly now, you need to be on Snapchat. Snapchat is going crazy, especially in Morgantown, for the college age kids and the high school age kids. They're on there 6, 7 times, sometimes an hour. An hour. They're on there all the time. And what happens is you watch a video and it disappears after you see it. So you have their attention because they know, you know that they're not going to be able to come back and watch it later. After it's up, it's up. 10 seconds and it's gone. You're never going to see it again. So it's a great way to get their attention, because you can tell me how awesome and legit your product is, but until I have your attention, you're not going to consume that. Snapchat is great for the attention graph because they're going to watch that 6-second or 10-second video because they know that it's only a one-time deal and it's gone. So if you're trying to reach the adults, Facebook. If you're trying to reach the younger demos for retail stores, spas, things like that, you want to be on Twitter, you want to be on Instagram, you want to be on Snapchat. Okay, what else do we got? Let's see. Any tricks for making my life easier when it comes to doing social media marketing? So all great things come with putting in effort, okay? You can automate this stuff. You can automate everything. I'm not a big fan of automating it. There are tools to where you can go in and schedule out every single tweet, every single Facebook post until the end of time, okay? And if that's the only way you can do it, then give it a shot. But don't schedule it out for more than a week in advance. A lot of people will try to schedule out for a month in advance. I'm big on real time. So now if I have a meeting at 2 o'clock and I'm getting ready to post at 1:25, yes, I can schedule it to post at 2 o'clock if I know that's the best time to post. But here's why we don't like to schedule. Let's say something bad happens, all right? The shooting that was going on around Morgantown with the tow truck driver, okay? Something really bad. And you have your post scheduled, and you scheduled it like 3 weeks before that massacre, and you just kind of forgot about it. And all of a sudden, there's all this news popping up about all these people getting killed. And then all of a sudden, there's that jackass that kind of jumps in and says, hey, buy my product. That's going to make you look really, really bad. It's going to be very bad for your brand. So that's why we're really cautious about scheduling things out. So here's what I would suggest everybody to do. Find their peak posting times on Facebook, which you can do that by going into the Facebook admin page. Basically, if you're the admin of your Facebook page, then you can go in on your business page. You'll see something at the top. It says Insights, and then you will see Posts once you click on Insights. Posts is going to show you your peak post time. If it's 10 o'clock in the morning and you know that your first peak post time is noon, but you're going to be in a lunch meeting with a big client, you can schedule it to hit at noon. You just don't want to schedule 2-3 weeks out. It can be very dangerous. So I'm not a big fan of automating, but if you want to make your life a little bit easier, you can do that. Check out something called Hootsuite, Hootsuite. I believe they spell it Suite. They spell a little weird. Hootsuite. Just Google it. It's a really good platform, bringing all of the social, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can manage them all three of those from one location instead of having to bounce around. Let's see. Do I have to spend money on social media to make it work? We're actually going to get into the ad platform in the next show. But no, you do not have to spend money on social media to make it work. You can spend money on social media and reach your niche audience, your exact target audience. You can also do it organically, which is when you're not spending money on social media. It's when you're just posting daily content, which is very effective, but you have to be very good about what you're putting out there. Let's say I want to reach a particular audience. I'll use one of our clients, Steel City Harley-Davidson, as an example. They wanted to reach the men and women from Pittsburgh down to Morgantown that owned a Harley-Davidson. That billboard on the side of the road is not cutting it. It's a lot of people that don't own Harleys that see that. For this particular area of their business, it had to be people that owned Harleys. So they had their organic, their unpaid social media, but over here we're doing their targeted ad campaign, and we actually targeted it to people that had credit card and debit card transaction history showing that they had purchased a Harley in the last 48 hours to 2 years. So in those areas, from Pittsburgh down to Morgantown, people had credit card and debit card history showing that they had bought this product. So you do not have to spend money, but if you're spending money on TV, radio, billboards, then you want to allot. Certainly, you can continue to spend money there as well. I'm not telling you not to, but you need to allot money for over here, because what happens is all those traditional media platforms, it's a shotgun. You're hoping you're hitting somebody in here that is your target audience. With social media, there's so much data available on your audience that it's a sniper rifle. If you want to reach Joe Schmo, who is a single dad that makes $90,000 a year, spends a lot of money on nutrition supplements, owns a pet, and just bought a home, and is in the market to buy a truck, you can reach that exact person. And I'm not making that up. That's literally all data that I have used in the last 6 weeks. So, no, you don't have to spend money on social media, but it does help. We are about out of time. I didn't get through all of the questions, but that's okay, because, again, we are going to come to you live every single Friday at 1 o'clock. We're going to answer your social media questions. This was the first time we've done this, so what I'd like to do is please email me your questions, luke@thinkimpact.com, impact with a K, IMPAKT. Feel free to ask me any questions that you do have, and we'll keep jamming every Friday. I want to bring value to you all. One last thing, if you have not registered for the Evolve Conference, be sure to do that. It's evolve-conference.com, and for this live stream, I'm going to push out some promotional codes. Upon checkout, if you enter Evolve Me, you're going to get a $50 discount on your ticket price. So hope this brought some value. Ask some questions, tweet at us, hit us on Instagram, Facebook, email me, and we will continue to bring you all value. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we will see you next week.